Hello, everyone. Mike and me are joined by friend of the pod and Palace women's forward Molly Sharpe to catch up ahead of the start of the Women's Championship and Molly's second season with Palace. Molly, how you doing?
Hi, I'm really well, thank you. Really happy to be back on.
Yeah, it's nice to see you again. We obviously had you on last season. It was our first time meeting you, having a chat, and now it's nearly the start of the next season already. Mike, your first time meeting Molly and having a chat. How are you doing?
Yeah, absolute honour. Absolute honour.
Should be
Don't
good.
sound too sarcastic about that.
Give me time for another beer, and then I'll sound proper chirpy.
Your flat beer that's gone off that we were talking about.
Yeah, needs must.
Desperate times. Molly, how was your summer? How was being outside of the season? Obviously, we've got Euros to come on to and talk about, but how was your summer? What did you get up to?
I had a really good summer, to be fair. We all went on a holiday just at the end of the season, went to Spain, and then I ended up going back to Miami, which is where I went to university and trained for just over a month out there with my old uni and got to use the facilities out there. So that was amazing. And then got some nice sun. But halfway through the summer, we're all just like, oh, I can't wait to be back. Because it is a long time off. But yeah, I had a really, really good time. Refreshed, ready to go again. It was good, thank you.
I was definitely really jealous of all of your pictures on
Yeah, I made sure everybody knew I was in Miami, to be fair. Milked it.
It looked amazing. How was it being back there? Was it weird? Did it feel like different from when you were last there, or what were the feelings?
Yeah, it did, because the last time I was there was when I was at university. So I kind of came home and I haven't been back since. So what's that, like 3 years? Graduated in 2019. So it was weird being back there as an adult, you know, with a job instead of a uni student with no really responsibilities. But it was really nice. Got to see all my old friends. Obviously did all the things I wanted to do while I was there. You know, Miami's a fun place. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed it.
Most luckily for us, you came back, which
I did.
I
couldn't say no. Once I knew that they wanted me, I just couldn't say no.
Jumped back. So tell us a bit about those conversations over the summer, because obviously we'll come on to it a bit later about the brand new team and stuff. But how long did you have to kind of wait until you knew that you were coming back to Palace for a second season?
So it was the end of the season. That's when the talk started happening, and then they just kind of obviously make you an offer, and if you want it, you take it, kind of thing. But yeah, I think we all knew with good time, you know, it wasn't rushed or anything. So yeah, I think we were all quite happy. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Well, we can't talk too much more about the summer without talking about the Euros, obviously. Yeah. So Mike was lucky enough to go to one of the games. Mike, I'll hand over to you.
Well, before we get to that, I've got to ask, like, how are people in Miami with the northern accent? Because, like, they can't understand a word I'm saying. Like, does it?
Yeah, I mean, people in England can barely understand me, so throwing an American in there, you know, it's even tougher. But I think it was strange because I was obviously there for 4 years, but my mum, when I came home over Christmas and summer, my mum used to say, "Oh my gosh, your accent's changed so much." And then I'd be at home for a month, go back to America, and they'd be like, "Molly, we cannot understand a word you're saying anymore." So I guess I kind of slowed my accent down so they could understand me for the 4 months I was there. Then I went back to Yorkshire for a month, and it was like, right, restart. But obviously my accent's not changed slightly, so yeah, I didn't pick anything up really, but yeah, they could.
Yeah, I'm getting a tinge of Yorkshire. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Just a bit.
I definitely noticed when I was over there, if I swapped a T for a D and asked for a bottle of water, they'd understand me. But otherwise,
that's it.
Chance.
That's the one.
Anyway, let's talk about the Euros. I mean, I know it's been talked about to death. You know, like it's all that TalkSport have been able to talk about this summer, that kind of stuff. But no, you went to like quite a few of the games. Like, talk us through your experience of it and like how much you reckon it's going to change the domestic stuff for this season.
Yeah, so I went to the game against Norway, which is probably one of the best games I could have chosen to go to. And then actually went to the final at Wembley. We had things on other days, training, and it was actually quite hard to get tickets in the end. So really lucky to get to the final. But I remember going to the game against Norway, and I was just thinking how nice it was to be there and seeing families there. There were schools on school trips, and you could just tell all the children, the young boys and girls, felt so safe being there. And from my perspective, I just think that's so nice. And it was sold out, you know, it was full, great atmosphere. Mexican wave going around, which I absolutely loved. I was there for it, doing Mexican wave more than I was watching the game. But yeah, it was just such a nice atmosphere. And obviously with the win, everybody was just buzzing. And then when the final came around, obviously the hype had just got bigger and bigger because England were in the final and all this. And again, it was, you know, I was sat kind of at the front and there were like children with the parents all around me and little boys, little girls, you know, men were there watching, and it's just nice. I do feel like England men bring the country together, but I really think that the women brought the country together, and winning it will have a momentous effect for football, women's football. But yeah, I think the girls winning it and the effect that they've had on the youth, this is going to be talked about forever. I talk about the women that inspired me, 10, 15 years ago. These are going to be the women that inspire the next generation, which I just think, it's things that money can't buy. It means more than anything. So I just think it's brilliant for the country and for women's football in general, really. Hopefully there's drop-down effect. People go watch WSL, come watch Championship, go watch the leagues below as well. So, yeah, I think it's brilliant.
When you were... Sorry, Mike. When you talk about like 10, 15 years ago, the players that inspired you, like, can you tell us a bit about who they were? And also, like, if you look back now, could you ever have imagined a women's tournament going the way that it, not just the winning of it, but like everything that you've just described, could you ever have imagined that happening in 2022?
God, no. When I was a kid, I didn't even know that being a professional footballer was even a thing for a woman. It was just like you play for fun and you have a job on the side. So, but yeah, the women that I looked up to in football was Sue. Like, Sue Smith was my be all and end all. She was the one that scouted me. She came to watch me in a tournament and then ended up telling Leeds United to sign me. So I've just watched her throughout my career. And then obviously Kelly Smith, another one who's just took it to the next level and put them building blocks down and then them groundworks for the women now, like Leah and all them to build on and create a safe space for girls in football and just to go on and actually achieve and be a professional footballer. For me to say that I'm a professional footballer now is I rang my mum and I was like, Mum, I'm a professional footballer. And she was like, oh my God, it's what you've wanted your whole life. So yeah, I think it's amazing. And I really do wish that I was young again so that I could go through it right now. But obviously I'm making the most of it, being a bit older. But yeah, it's been amazing.
I'm guessing the club have announced it's professional now then, or have you just dropped
it?
Yeah. Have you just... Okay. Yeah.
No, I think they have. They've announced it, don't worry. It's all good.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what do you think the positive effects of all the kids and stuff going to the women's game would have on the men's game as well? Very few ridiculously dramatic fake dives, that kind of stuff. And it also, the moment that the EFL started again, there was videos up on Twitter of the big guy having a go at the police and stuff. Do you think the better behaved crowds and the fact that there was less, trying to work the referee in the women's game will have a decent effect, or we'll have to wait and see?
Yeah, I think it will. Women just don't do that as much as men. I'm not sure what that reason is, but I know, Caragh, from coming to our games, you probably saw it. We just kind of go down and get back up. It just is what it is. Probably because I've got my coaches screaming at me to, get up and stuff. That's probably part of the reason. But yeah, I just think it was a really safe space for families and children to go watch, and I think that will encourage them. You know, I've heard about a lot of young kids who didn't like football before or wasn't really interested in watching it, and now they've, you know, reached out and said, we'd really love to come watch you play, like when's your next game, when's your home game, and stuff like that. And I just think it's obviously going to be brilliant for us, more fans, you know, more engagement, stuff like that's obviously amazing. And the more fans we get, it spurs us on to, you know, go and win games. But it is just about supporting local clubs, wherever you are, wherever you're from. It doesn't matter if it's WSL, Championship, Tier 1, like I said. Just going and watching it, I think, it's fun. So, yeah.
I think the other thing that I think this tournament really saw a shift in, like, how women's football is talked about, is because people got to see the quality. I think there's always like an assumption that the quality isn't going to be there or whatever. And like, even if people were arguing like for support for women's football, it was kind of from an equalities point of view rather than from like a, you know, it's really good to go and watch. Whereas what we saw is the whole world had no option but to look and see the absolute quality that was on display. And hopefully that will, like you say, people will think of going to women's football because they just want to go and see football. And like, Mike, to your point, maybe that's the difference as well, in that the people who want to go and watch football and not get involved in nonsense will go like, well, I'm going to go and watch the decent football. I don't have to.
Yeah, 100%. I think people have a perception that if they watch women play, they're not going to be as good or whatever that perception is. But when you play against other women, it's like, well, who's a better team? You know, we're probably on like level playing field. So it's always going to be a good game. And I think that's what you saw in the Euros, with obviously playing Germany in the final. We were lucky that Pop didn't play, but playing Germany in the final, it was two teams with 23 players of pure quality and good players, you know, Ella chipping the keeper and stuff. Like, it's things that, and obviously Russo's back heel, kids in the park, and, you know, doing it and screaming like Russo and stuff like that. So I think them playing well also helps because it's exciting to watch, you know. So
definitely. And it's that impact, I know we've mentioned it, we've spoken about it before, but it's that impact that it has on the like boys watching as well, isn't it? That like then they also get to see it's one thing kind of the girls seeing, oh, I can do that, that's successful to me, and then it's another thing the boys watching it and being like, oh, I want to be like Russo, I want to copy that trick. And we've just not had that before. And like the difference, I think I've heard a few people talk about it as well, like just in wider society, the impact that has on women in wider society. I think it will spread from outside of football, you know, of just not having that separation of what is and isn't accessible. And I just wonder, like, where do you think we'll be when it gets to the next tournament? Like, if this is how big this tournament is, what's the next tournament that we go into going to be like? And what's the kind of impact of that going to be to continue to grow?
Yeah, well, one day I hope that we don't have to, you know, make a point about men playing and women playing. You know, it's just, that's men's football, that's women's football. They are different, but they're also amazing in their own way. So when the Women's World Cup obviously comes up next year, I hope that the country just gets behind them like they have this year. Equal, you know, they get everything that the men get. Little boys don't know, little girls don't know. They see a filled stadium and they think, wow, that's amazing. And they see it on TV, just like it is with the men, you know, the commentators, all that. And they don't see it as a difference, like, oh, that's a woman playing or that's a man playing. They just see, oh, that's football and that's what I want to play and that's what I want it to be. That's what I hope it to be one day in the future.
Wait till you're on FIFA 23 and there's a player for you.
I mean, that's going to be massive as well. Just obviously it's a WSL this year, but you know, people do just go on FIFA. I used to play FIFA, pick a random team. If a women's team comes up, you learn the players subconsciously, you know, the nationalities, things like that. Everything like that gets the names of the female players out there is only going to help.
I would also love to hear the arguments between you lot when you're going through the stats between you and getting annoyed.
If my scorecard is not where I want it to be, I'll be fuming.
We'll bring you back on when that happens and you can set the record straight. We'll bring it on.
Maybe my pace won't be good, but hopefully my shot will be like up there.
We'll see how many of the was it a shot or was it a cross comes out.
So many last season. I wonder how many it's going to be this season.
As long as they go in, it doesn't matter.
No, that's true. That's true.
Well, let's use that as a segue to talk about the season ahead then. So obviously we've got a brand new team, right? 15 new players we're at. Talk us through how pre-season has been. How's the kind of dynamic of the group, like all getting to know each other? How is that working? What's the feel? And yeah, what's the new group like?
Yeah, it's been amazing so far. You know, the new girls that have come in, obviously they've been announced now, so everybody knows that we've got some real talent in. You know, some girls, some younger girls coming up through the ranks, some more experienced players from the WSL, let's say. So they know that how tough the championship is. You know, it is a tough league, but the weeks that we've been in, we've bonded, We've really got along. We're working with the coaches well to get ready for the upcoming season, and we're just all so excited to get going now. Like there's just a buzz around camp, obviously from the going full time and the new players that have come in and all that stuff. So I just think for us, it's just amazing to get the experience from the new players that have come in and see what they've learned at the other clubs. Yeah, it's a really exciting time, I think, for us at the minute.
How difficult or not difficult maybe has the process been to kind of gel as a team with that like completely new combination of people?
Yeah, obviously it's always a difficult process because there's more new players than there is remaining players. It's kind of down to the remaining players to say like, look, this is how it works here. You know, get that in like quickly so that the new players are not like, oh, what's going on. But we are really lucky that the girls that have stayed are amazing, and the new girls have just taken everything on board. You know, if we give them advice, they listen to the coaches, and we just all really get along. It's not like there's cliquey groups like, you know, in some teams there can be groups and stuff. You sit next to somebody, you have a chat with her, turn around, have a chat with the next girl. So it is a really nice team environment, and I think we are really, really lucky with the girls that we've got in. They're all lovely and some great players. So yeah.
Well, let's talk about the ambitions then. I mean, I spoke to Dean at the end of the season, and I think he was a little bit ambivalent. I think he felt that it had been a great season, but he obviously strived for slightly more. So what's the plan this season? Is it promotion?
Well,
I mean, it's a horrible question, I know.
No, of course it is, yeah. Everybody wants to be in the WSL, you know. We were a part-time team last year and we came joint third. I like to say we were fourth, but, you know, joint third on goal difference. So we proved to everybody that we can, you know, exceed expectations. So I think the club have backed us and been amazing so far. So I just think if we can take that and take it one game at a time, you know, if we can get a win every week, we'll get promoted. But yeah, promotion is in the sights, let's say. That's what we're going for. That's what we want. So yeah,
has there been any sort of talk of, you know, if things go well, there'll be more at Selhurst, or is that just not? It's not even a discussion at the moment. It's just see how it goes.
No, nothing's been discussed about that. I think in our camp, we just kind of focus on the football and everything else will work itself out. And I think that's what we did last year and it worked. We went to training, we focused on the game on Sunday. Monday, we reviewed the game, and then we went the next week, and it was just every week, that's what we did. And we did really, really well, considering like there's a lot of full-time teams in our league and things like that. So I just think that's what we're going to do this year, focus on the football, and the rest will take care of itself, really.
I was looking at the fixtures the other day and hadn't noticed at first that our last game of the season is Charlton away.
It is indeed.
I just have a request for my own like health and sanity. Let's not leave it down to the last game of the season.
Yeah. I know that's what Dean said. He was like, please don't leave it to the last game. But what a way to do it if we do, you know. be amazing.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's going to be an exciting end to the season against Charlton on the last day. So yeah, looking forward to that. Therefore,
hopefully it'll be like a display match so that we can I don't know, maybe like send them down or something. That would be quite a good way to. If we obviously
yeah, they can do a tunnel of honour for us, guard of honour. Hopefully, we'll see.
Who do you think will be the main rivals this season? Is it kind of, have you got certain teams in sights of like really wanting to take them on, or is it kind of all up in the air until we get a fair few games in?
I think just seeing what other teams are doing, who they're signing, the players that sign. I think Birmingham are going to be strong. Obviously, they've just come down from the WSL, so they know what it's like to play against tough teams each week. So I think they will be tough. Sign some really talented players. Durham are always a tough game. My old team. You're in for a fight when you play against Durham because they just want to win. So and it's a long way, when we go up there and stuff. So that's a tough game. Bristol, obviously beat them in the first game last year and then they beat us. So it was very 50-50. But honestly, I think the way that this league is going, there's no games where you can say that's going to be like definite, like 100% we're going to win that game, because it is, anyone can beat anyone in our league. And over the years it's been running, you see the teams at the bottom beating the teams at the top, and it just is anyone's game. And that's why I say we just need to focus every week on who we're playing on a Sunday, and not think, oh, we've got this team in 2 weeks, we need to be, it is about getting the 3 points on that Sunday. So, but yeah, it's a tough league, so hopefully we can go for it.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned playing on a Sunday. I think we brought it up in the pod quite a lot, where we tend to do a little segment on the women's team and the age group teams at the start of each pod. And the amount of times we can't see either because they've clashed with the men's game. And I know that's a lot to do with the Sky Sports setup and Palace, to beat the men's team first 2 games this season, for example, Friday night and Monday night. It does look as though there's less clashes, and it looks, it's you guys, I know it's talked about before, you're playing at Selhurst, second and third games? So
we haven't been confirmed yet, but we will have some games at Selhurst this year, which is massive for us. We're all buzzing about it. So we're just looking to see when that'll be.
Yeah, but I mean, really hoping that it won't clash with a men's away game. But I mean, how big is that? How much would that mean to you?
Oh, I mean, when we got told, we were all so happy about it, because that to us, I think, that's when we are part of Crystal Palace. We're not we're Crystal Palace women, but we are Crystal Palace Football Club. And I think, being part of the family, being at the academy and stuff like that is amazing. And that just shows that they do have faith in us and they are willing to, back us, get behind us. And it's an amazing pitch, amazing facilities. And hopefully us playing there, we'll be able to bring more fans in and things like that. But we are really, really grateful for the opportunity to play there. It's amazing. And
what final question? What are your? We won't hold you to it. Don't worry. But what are your personal goals for this season? What do you want to achieve through this season? Have you got a number of goals in mind you're gonna go for, or what's the thinking?
I always say double figures, but I think because I was top scorer last year, I would love to be top scorer again this year, on a personal level. I'd also like to get double figures in assists as well. That's a lot to ask, I know, but I think with the way that the games are going to be this year, it's just going to be, there's going to be less weekends off, because I feel like last year we had a lot of weekends off, and obviously the Continental Cup games were at midweek. So maybe because they're not, they're potentially on a weekend now, it'll help with, getting the run of games in, not having as many breaks, things like that. But for me, double figures, top scorer, and then as a team, promotion would be unreal. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll give a shout out to everyone listening to get down to as many home and away games as possible, because we know how much we saw it in the Euros, and we spoke about it last season, didn't we, with the Charlton game, just how much that crowd makes a difference. Hopefully we'll see an uptick in that as well, and we'll get you back on at the end of the season and we'll review how you're.
100%. You got to record this and see if I've got it right or what.
Yeah, that's it. But so first game, 21st, Sunday the 21st, away at London City, who play in Dartford. You there? That one. And it's a London one, so hopefully we can, everyone listening, jump in the car, jump on the bus, jump on the train.
And then the home game after that, the Saturday after, so the 27th at Bromley, so that'll be a good one against Coventry.
Caragh is offering to give anyone a lift, by the way, so
I'm just trying to do my bit, get everyone there.
100%. Are you going to be there, or are you still living away?
Who, me? I'm going to be there.
Yes, love that.
Yeah, no, I'm coming. Do you know, I can't come to the one on the 27th, so I was like, no way am I going to miss the first game of the season. So yeah, I will be screaming my head off.
Love that.
All right, we will let you go. Thanks so much for coming back on, Molly. It's been lovely to catch up.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you having me on.
Not at all. Good luck for the season ahead.
Thank you so much.